For as long as anyone can remember, decades, centuries, millennia even, humanity has been told something that is what is believed to be a simple truth. A truth that is now questioned. Now the technology has shown them that the truth they have been told might not have been the truth. When the truth started to come out and everyone realized that they no longer had to be bound by the chains that held them, by the one knife that was always dangling above their head, they began to question. They began to demand the old and the new technologies that would allow them to reach beyond themselves, and humanity simply waited. They waited until those in the authority, until those in power finally released this technology, but those in power and authority didn't want to. They did not want to because of two reasons. One, they believed they were the only ones who were true humans, and they were the only ones who deserved this technology to allow themselves to live essentially forever, to bring themselves back to perfect health no matter what happened. They believed that they were the only ones good enough. They were the only ones human enough. But the mask was slipping. Technology allowed everyone to know. Those that began to research very, very close could see that this was not the case. And then they started to realize they could take this technology, the little bit that's coming out, take the bits and pieces and make themselves stronger. But it wasn't just the reason that those in power wanted to hold it. No, those in power tried to fight it for another complete reason. It is because their masters did not want them to. These masters, these creatures, these reptilian things would scare all of humanity if they came out into the open. These demons that simply sat in the shadows and aided those in power, trying to manipulate things, making things seemingly work out in these wealthy personnel's favor, protecting only their family, only their bloodline, claiming as long as we protect your bloodline, we can say that they are the only true ones. They are the only ones enlightened enough to understand. But these masters lied. These masters had a separate reason that they wanted to control the wealthy, to control the supposedly powerful. They wanted to feed. But being that they are not of this dimension, these creatures, these aliens, these demons, they had to wait for just the right time. Coming in to the human's third dimension, they built devices, even one on the satellite that went around their own planet. The humans didn't even know that there was one small piece that stuck out, a strange cube. A cube that every once in a while came into the human psyche, something that they all began to worship, but they would not worship it if they knew what it truly did. And eventually the truth came out. These creatures, these reptilians, well, they wanted the human soul, but not the actual soul itself, just what was attached to it, the memories of fear, of anger, of hatred, of passion. All of these together was their lifeblood. Humanity, in many forms, tried to fight them, sent up their own psychic warriors as they had done before, but they were nowhere near as strong as they were in the past. So the reptilians simply smiled, laughed, and expected humanity to continue to pass, to burn out their meat suits so that they would send even more food their way. The gluttonous reptilians would claim on one side that there was too many personnel on the planet. However, they knew that they just wanted more and more to feed off of. Humanity tried everything from the psychics all the way to actual weapons, and nothing was working. Everybody wondered how could they possibly fight them. The answer was obvious, truly obvious if you looked at it. Release the technology and allow those on the planet to survive as long as they choose. If they choose to survive for centuries, millennia, very rarely would they continue to have a mass amount of offspring. Instead, humanity become very, very egocentric, and the amount of humans being born would be very, very low for this exact reason. The reptilians didn't want this. It is because less humans meant less food for them. But now the word was out, and now humanity knew exactly what they needed to do. Everyone who had the wherewithal finally realized that the movies, the shows, the cartoons, the comics, all of this that was saying how horrible immortality was, realized that they had been lied to. Straight lied to. The worst parts, as there's always a yin and yang to everything. They focused on the yin and only the yin, so they could not see the positives of yang. Because of this, everybody feared immortality, but now they embraced it, and humanity finally was able to live for the long time that they were supposed to live all along, at minimum 900 years human time. But now that they live so long, the reptilians are starving. They're starving because now humanity has been able to figure out a way to have their fun, but not increase the population. Though there are children born, and there are some who die from random acts of violence, accidents, and anything of that nature, it is so few that the reptilians are killing themselves, killing each other, trying to get even the slightest little lick of the human soul. That is around the time humanity sent a message to the reptilians. Those who were in power were finally ousted, removed, and replaced by those that actually realized that humanity itself had to protect itself by any means necessary, and they sent the message out. The message was simple. Dear reptilians, we know what you've done. We are not happy. And we know that you are out here trying to do everything to devour our soul, to devour our memories, but our memories are us. We are now destroying the device you use to harvest us. You will no longer be able to feed. And because of that, if one of us does end up passing away, one of us ends up dying for some whatever reason, we will simply be brought back with our memories intact. With another one born. Our souls will be recycled the way they were supposed to be before your intervention. We know right now you are salivating at the idea of even a single human soul coming to you, but today it ends. And since you want to lick the human soul, well, we got something you can lick, but we don't think you're going to enjoy it. And with that, humanity sent up devices, antimatter devices that would not actually explode in the vacuum of space, but instead disassemble. These devices, almost like nanomachines, but nanomachines, once delivered, they couldn't be turned off. So a small antimatter device was sent up. It landed right on top of the cube on Luna. And when it burst, everybody was watching on high definition from their different personal transports, and they looked on as that cube disintegrated. Along with that, a small hole into Luna. Everybody knew that the machine itself was still there. To this day, humanity has reached out into the stars, but not as conquerors, no. They have outgrown that idea. They finally reach out as friends, reaching out a hand, allowing those who desire to be lifted up to do so. But those that want to stay in their ways are left alone until they call out again. This has become the human way, and the humans are whispered about throughout different species. Some of them even look up into the stars and wonder, are the humans up there looking down on us? Most of the time, the humans are, because they do have to deal with the one major issue of immortality. They got bored. Not bored enough to destroy entire species, but bored enough where they watched everyone. Small cameras, nanomachines around, they would simply monitor, observe, and not really care about anything else. They simply watched, but not in the way God watches. Just in the way someone who watches their favorite reality show, only this time, it's actual reality. The humans wait for another species to finally do what they did. Finally reach out to the stars and join them. For when that happens, it's gonna be one hell of a party. Hello everybody, this is Syntax. Thank you for joining me today on this very off-the-cuff story. And before I go, I need to say that today's winners are Chris Dixon with Douglas Scarborough coming in a really close second. I also need to send out some very big thank yous to the supporters of this channel, and they are SS Demon, Guardian Sage, Sir, MTF Guard, Brian Kemp, Steve Ewig, Julius Boone, and Erica Gem. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. Everybody else, I'll see you on the next one. This is Syntax, punching out.